today. Now go and tell all the neighbors, yeah. Then crank up the radio. There's infotainment, brilliance to get you on your way. Wake up and start your day with Jimmy Lakey.
All right, we are live from Rwanda, Kigali, Rwanda. Nice to have you here on the Lakey Unleashed podcast. Not in the house of Lakey, but again, behind me is the beautiful city of Kigali. I'm on site. Where are you at? I hear my weather's better than your weather. It really is. It's 78 degrees, a little windy, breezy. I'm in the shade. It's been beautiful. It's better than you're at because some of you I've been hearing have high winds there and the cold, bitter winds of Colorado. You've also heard it said it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I guarantee you it is 5 o'clock 5:01 here. So while you're waking up in America, I am here. And because it's 5 o'clock somewhere, I might or might not have apple juice there for my breakfast drink. That's my breakfast drink of apple juice. And I might or might not, because it's 5 o'clock somewhere, have a fine cigar going somewhere. Anyway, good to have all of you here. A lot of news to catch up with. This is our final show, live show for 2024. This is wrap it up. We'll come back in January the 6th. And we will have continue our news, covers the daily update. If you're new to the program, you're just tuning in, don't forget the daily update happens every day, Monday through Friday. From the House of Lakey, we go through the news and stories of the day. We have a lot of great guests. We got great guests today as well. And we'll go through some of the news in America. Former President Jimmy Carter died. We'll talk about that here in just a second. I'll also give you some updates from my trip here in Rwanda as I'm live broadcasting. And let's see, a lot of other things to get to. It's New Year's. How about that? New Year's Eve. A couple of days left in 2024. And I ask you this question: who are the biggest winners and the biggest losers in 2024? Who are the winners? Who are the losers in 2024? Who comes out victorious? I think most of you would probably say they thought he was going to be the loser, but Donald Trump turned out to be the winner. 2024. Old Kamala, she turned out to be a big-time loser. Who are the biggest losers and the biggest winners in 2024? Don't forget, whatever platform you're on, if you're on YouTube this morning, if you're on Rumble, if you're on X, if you're on Facebook, wherever you are at, my friends, you can comment, and we see those right here in the studio. So who are the biggest losers out there? Oh, there's a funny one. 600 KCOL is the biggest loser. I didn't say it. You said it. I'm just reading the quotes there, but that's okay. We have survived. By the way, I like the comment that they like my new backdrop. This is not the new backdrop for the House of Lakey. That's in the new studio, but it is a nice backdrop. That is the beautiful Rwanda is called the land of 1,000 hills, and there's hills everywhere, and it's just absolutely an amazing place to see the hills. So if you ever want to come with me, I'll show you some videos, and I'm the great tour guide. And matter of fact, a couple of my friends from Rwanda are going to be on the podcast in just a bit. My friend Vedaste is here. We call him Edwin because he's like a famous footballer. And so that's a famous football name, Edwin. So we'll talk to him. My friend Willie Ruminera is going to be on. He's out lurking somewhere. I think he's at the Hotel Serena, and he's going to tune in here just a bit and talk about some of the work we do for Rivers Promise. But live from Rwanda, glad to have you here. All right, let's dive into some news. All right, the news broadcast that we are, very esteemed broadcast network that we are. Jimmy Carter, old Jimmy Carter, Plains, Georgia peanut farmer, President of the United States, lived to be 100 years of age. And old Jimmy Carter died over the weekend. If you saw him a couple of weeks ago, you've seen him at any time that they kind of literally wheel him out. You could tell you're almost surprised he lasted as long as he did. He's one of those presidents that was a horrible president. I mean, awful policies. The famous image of him in the sweater telling everybody, hey, freeze in your home and sweat in your home, whatever, but don't be comfortable. Wear a sweater, get naked, whatever. Don't burn any energy. He was a symbol of weakness in America when he was the president. The phrase malaise came out of his economy. But after he got out of the White House, he was a great guy. He built homes for the poor, taught Sunday school at the Baptist Church in Plains, Georgia. Great guy. I think most people would agree that when the biography of Jimmy Carter is written, and I'm sure probably most of it's already written, is that he was probably one of the most effective and compassionate and good guys outside of the White House. Look at his fellow, let's look at Barack Obama. Is Barack Obama known anything except fast living and fancy living? After he got out of the White House, George W. Bush, what has his post-administration accomplishment been? Jimmy Carter actually made a great impact on humanity, so we salute him for that. But he was an absolute horrible president. It's been interesting to see the coverage of the death of Jimmy Carter. That a couple of them, ABC News did it, and I just did a quick cursory Google search today, and it was crazy. They were saying that Jimmy Carter was the first climate change oriented president, and they were really kind of twisting this little narrative, this little web, this silliness about, because they said, look, Jimmy Carter put there are two examples. He put solar panels on the White House, so that showed that he was very worried about climate change. BS. That's not why he put solar panels on the White House. We'll tell you about that in a second. But they also say because the presidential reviewing stand that is at the inauguration, the presidential reviewing stand, he had it recycled rather than taking it apart or throwing it away. He had it recycled, put it in a park, and they could use it as a bandstand for local bands and artists to sing, dance, and perform on weekends. And that made him some kind of an environmentalist because he liked to reuse items. It's amazing how they're twisting themselves to try to say it's climate change. Listen, the reason that he put solar panels on the White House had nothing to do with he was concerned about climate change or global warming. A matter of fact, if you remember, it's during the Carter administration or shortly thereafter that the real fear that they had was going to be global cooling. They were afraid that you were going to have cooling and the new ice age was coming. I remember being a wee toddler, being told we were going to have a new ice age. And so he didn't put solar panels on the White House because he was about climate change. If you recall, there was an embargo and a fight with OPEC, and we couldn't get any oil. We had fuel shortages in America. And anything you could do to save burning fuel was very important. And that's why they put solar panels on the White House. Had nothing to do with some fear of climate change or fear of global warming. It had nothing to do. It had to do with we didn't have any oil because we were in a battle with OPEC in the Middle East and we were dependent on them. It was actually Jimmy Carter and his administration, if you didn't know it, Jimmy Carter, he actually encouraged the expansion of coal mining in America. So it's amazing to watch these leftists and these wackos in the media really just try to spin some tale and tell some tale of nonsense about who Jimmy Carter was. He had awful policies. His energy policy was not driven by climate change. It was driven by because we were in a position of weakness and we were dependent on OPEC. And the only way he could deal with it is to put solar panels on the White House and tell you to wear freaking sweaters. So they're getting it all twisted up, but it shouldn't surprise you. That's not Carter's fault. That's the media's fault. And that's what they are doing. Again, question of the morning. If you're just joining us, I'm live from Rwanda. I'm doing the work for my charity work. Most of you know, we'll talk more about that in a moment. My son is here with me and his friends are here. Our friend is here. They're out at Akagera National Park today. And all the times I've gone to Akagera to do the safari and to see the animals, I've never seen the cats. They always hide from me. I'm not catnip. They don't show up. I cannot see the cats when I go to Rwanda. My son, they left our hotel early this morning. I think they were out of there at 5 or 5:30 to drive to Akagera with their driver. And about 10:30 this morning, my son texted me, I can't get photos out, no coverage, but he could send an SMS message, and it said lions. And sure enough, I'll have to show him. I meant to send him over to producer Chad, but I didn't. He had lions. He had his first lion. He had his first lion sighting, and he saw two, and they were close. They were as close as it looked like they were probably 20 yards away. Fortunately, they were in the safety of the car, but I never saw the cats. And so earlier, before I set up here for the podcast, I asked him and his driver, what time are you guys coming back? And they're still out at the park because they've seen all the big fives. They had not seen the elephants today. So they were on a trek to find elephants. And what a great experience. If you ever come to Rwanda with me, I'll take some of you, we're going to have to background check or something, but it's an amazing experience. The silverback gorillas are here, legendary, never lived in captivity. We can take you to see those. Better yet, we take you to see the work of Rivers Promise. Hey, tomorrow we're going to do some big stuff for Rivers Promise. I'll get into that in a moment. But if you'd like to make a year-end donation, I want to encourage you to do so. riverspromise.org. We'd love to have it. We need to close out the year strong. Our end-of-year campaign has not been as strong as I wanted it to be. riverspromise.com, riverspromise.org. There it is. And just make a donation year and get that last minute tax deduction, if you will. All right, it's time for our stolen. She's our lovely waitress at Onomo. I've set up at Onomo. It's where I've set up. It's a nice hotel with a good view. I'm not staying here, but I've set up, and that's the view in the background live from Rwanda. Scott says the mushroom soup at the restaurant in the park is the best in the world. Well, I'm not there to eat the mushroom soup, Scott. I'm not, but they do have good food. Everywhere here is good food. Okay, here we go. Let's do the biggest winners and losers. I will do stolen memes here. What are some of the biggest and winners and losers? Somebody said that KCOL Radio, the radio station I used to be with, is a big loser, and I'll let you guys discuss amongst yourself. I have nothing to say except very kind words, and I had some very nice people that I worked with. Kind words there. Biggest winners and losers. Does anybody think that Joe Biden ends 2024 as a winner? By the way, did you hear that he kind of expressed regret that he dropped out of the race and let Kamala take over? He said he still thinks he would have beat old Donald Trump if he wouldn't have surrendered to Kamala. And I don't think he's right, but I'm sure he's pissed off that he did surrender to Kamala. Some of the biggest and winners. Who are the biggest winners of 2024? I would say America is a big winner. We've overcome some struggles in this election America is a big winner. So if you'd like to comment on any platform you're on, and we can talk about the winners and the losers in America, in the world 2024. Comment on whatever platform you are on. All right, let's go to the stolen meme section of the show. We steal these off the internet. We don't give credit if we don't have to. We try to give credit if we can, but sometimes we just steal them. We're just shameless thieves when it comes to memes. If you have any funny memes, we always love to see them. And let's just go through the stolen memes that I have, and I'm going to make sure I have the right ones in front of me that we have. Stolen meme section of the show is I've sent them over to Producer Chad. Producer Chad, you just pop them up and I'll figure it out from there. If you have a shameless meme we'd like to steal. Oh, but this is one. We Dallas Cowboy football fans, we troll ourselves. Everybody wants to troll me. It's usually the Philadelphia Eagles fans where the men wear panties and the women don't shave their pits. That's the Philadelphia Eagles fans, right? They're awful people. They really are awful people. Bad part of humanity. However, they always like to troll us. And so they try to troll Dallas Cowboy fans. And we troll ourselves. For instance, I think this is quite funny. It looks like there's green jersey. So I don't know if that's that's probably an Eagles game. It says, what does the Dallas Cowboys fans do after their team wins the Super Bowl? The answer, they turn off the Xbox. That's true. That's very true. See, you can't get to us Dallas Cowboy fans. You just can't get to us because we troll ourselves. So don't even try. My friend Roger he's not an Eagles fan, but he's a Cowboys troll. He loves to troll the Dallas Cowboys, and he thinks he's going to get a rise out of me. It's like they ride the short bus and can't figure out that we don't really give a rat's patootie. We will troll ourselves. You want to troll someone that you're going to piss them off and get under their skin. You cannot get under a Dallas Cowboys fans. All right, this is a fun one. We stole this meme, and it's shameless. And things I hated as a child was getting spanked and taking naps. Things I love as an adult is getting spanked and taking naps. I think Delilah slipped that one in. I think that sounds like Delilah humor. That's not very polite. Delilah humor. Does anyone in the chat rooms want to concur that that's what you like doing as an adult? The spanking and the naps are much more enjoyable now for some reason. Delilah, stop sending us memes over there. Stop loading the memes up. Producer Chad would never put a meme up like that. You have offended his sensibilities. Producer Chad is a very delicate flower, and when he sees things like that, he's probably calling a pastor priest and washing his mouth and eyes out with soap. So Delilah, stop that. Oh, this is it. This is a great one. Here's the American people winning in 2025. The Department of Health with our new guy, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and then the Department of Health under Robert F. Kennedy Jr., which was a man who thought he was a woman, and a woman who's about the stupidest person you could ever imagine, Corinne Jean-Pierre. I think America wins that picture has now changed, and the man dressed up like a woman is no longer going to be our Health and Human Services secretary or things like that. So that's good news. That's very good news that America wins on that one. Stolen meme section. We have shamelessly just steal memes off the interweb. If you ever have any, you just send them over to me, Jimmy, just send it to info@jimmylakey.com. That's the easiest place, and we'll make sure we get it from there. I want to show you my friend here. He's one of my favorites in Rwanda. He works at another hotel that I stay at, but he cannot come on in. He cannot sit in the bar area at the place he works, and so he's his day off. And I said, come and be on my podcast. And we call him Edwin because he's a famous footballer. You should see what he's wearing, man. He is dressed up to head to toe. Can you see the camera work? Head to toe. He's dressed up. You think I could wear that? No. Of course, he says. Of course, he's here. I'm going to talk to him a little bit about life in Rwanda and tourism. And Edwin, who when visitors come from around the world, you see all the hotels you see. You work for the Marriott Corporation. When visitors come, Americans, Europeans, who are the most friendly of the people that come?
The most friendly is American. Many people come from American, Canada. Yeah, other people come from in Asia. Some Chinese. Yeah,
And
you know,
is
Japanese.
anybody not friendly? Is everybody friendly, or some people are not very friendly?
No, no. Only people come from American.
American, Canada, we're friendly.
Yeah, American, Canada.
And
It's
Americans also tip. See, a lot of people around the world don't tip. We always give good tips, huh?
friendly. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes.
So you play football,
Yeah, I used to play football, second division.
second
And,
division. Is that high or is that low?
It's low.
Low. Are
Yeah,
you
it's
going to
low.
go higher?
Yeah, but I need to go higher. But
You-
it's right now it's low.
It's low.
Yeah,
And are you in season now?
yeah. And now we are on holidays because
Okay.
of Christmas. We
Okay.
are on holidays.
What do you do in Rwanda to celebrate New Year's? Is it a big party for New Year's Eve?
Yeah.
Big party?
I used to go to party.
You used to go to
Big
party.
music, dancing,
Big music,
yeah,
dancing,
something like that.
dancing.
Yeah.
Rwandans love to dance.
Yeah, everyone that likes dancing.
Yes.
Especially young generations.
The young
They like
generation.
it. Yeah, sure.
And they also do dress really cool. I could never get by with that. They dress much better than I do. What are the top beers? We have 3 Rwanda beers made in Rwanda. What are they?
The first one is called Mutzing.
Mutzig, okay.
Yeah, the second one it is called. The third one it's Virunga Mist or Virunga Gold.
Virunga Gold. And then the
Yeah.
other one is Skull,
Yeah, other one is called and
Skol.
that is Mutzing.
which is the most popular beer in Rwanda for Rwandans.
Yeah, it's a Primos.
Primus.
Yeah, Primos.
Is that Rwanda beer?
Yeah, it's Rwanda beer.
It's Rwanda. I'm not a beer guy, but I'm drinking apple juice for my 5 o'clock snack. This is only apple juice. That's all it is. It's just apple juice. So if people come to Rwanda, what do they usually say they're most surprised about your country? What are are they most surprised at the safety? Are they most surprised at the cleanliness? Are they most surprised at the food? What do people come and go, oh, this is so beautiful? What do they say most?
Yeah, most people they're surprised because the Kigali it's clean. It's very clean.
Very clean.
It's very clean. Everyone like it. They're surprised when they move to Kigali. If you can compare Rwanda to other country in East Africa,
Yeah.
Rwanda is very clean. It's very clean.
And it's very safe too.
Yeah, it's also very safe.
Very
And
safe.
security.
Very safe. He's my bodyguard, actually. That's what he's doing. He's here to keep people away from me. He's my bodyguard. Roger just commented, try the Rwanda whiskey. You'll love it. Roger, you know that's a lie. The Rwandan whiskey is awful, and that's why they don't carry it in the bars here. They only sell it at the airport to stupid tourists. Roger, that's a naughty mark. Don't end the year on a bad note to try the Rwandan whiskey. Don't end the year on a bad note. Edwin, go get yourself a beer.
Cheers.
And hang around. I may need your advice in a minute. Hang around. Get yourself a beer. Tell them to put it on my tab. I'll send it to Roger. All right, we're live from Rwanda. Roger's actually been to Rwanda with me, and so has producer Chad. And I'll tell you, the Rwandan whiskey is nothing to write home about. It really is not. And you say, Jimmy, why are you drinking apple juice so early in the morning? Well, it's early in the morning for you, but it's 5:20 in the afternoon for me, and that's why. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It is truly an image or a story of 5 o'clock somewhere. Hey, let me tell you why. Let's read some more. The winners and losers. We have people still joining us on all the platforms, Facebook, Rumble. We're live on the Instagram. And on the Rumble, it says on the right side, live chat. Send us a message. Let us know where you're listening at, what you're doing. I'd love to talk to all of you. Our biggest and winners and losers in 2024. I see some more coming in. Jimmy Lakey is the biggest winner for overcoming his firing, making room for an end of the Joe Biden era and DEI quotes, and his work generosity in Rwanda. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you to say. Have I overcome the firing? I don't have a paycheck. You should know that's okay. It's all good. Ray says the biggest winners are your listeners now that you have been unleashed from the confines of corporate radio. That's true. I'm a big winner. Thank you. You guys are very kind. Don't forget, we're really kicking off. This has been a trial run the last 3 weeks or so. And January the 6th, we'll hopefully have the new backdrop up very soon. We're going to do a live inauguration party, live in public. We'll tell you about that as it comes as it comes together. So it's going to be a fantastic time. I'm live in Rwanda, but January, we're really going to kick things off. And if you want to subscribe to the Unleashed podcast, you're going to really start ramping that up and go to patreon.com/Jimmy Lakey, become a subscriber. There's a 7-day free subscription. There's a free level, but if you want the real behind the scenes content, it's $9.95 a month. Try it for 7 days free of trial. And we've got some more interviews that'll start kicking off back in there at the first of the year. There's already a lot of content there, but we're going to get more. And then don't forget advertising. The packages have gone out to advertisers, and there's some that are category exclusive. So if you're a certain category, we're only going to let one come on this program. If you're in a certain category, you got it. You got to sign up for advertising, the package. And if you want information on advertising here, that's how we overcome the firing from radio, patreon.com. And then if you want to just be a sponsor, whether you're a business owner or an advertiser or just somebody that say you got extra money to throw around and would like to have your name in lights on the show, happy to do so. Just send us info. We'll send us an email, info@jimmylakey.com, info@jimmylakey.com. All right, in the green room, I have Leah Hops. She's our next guest of the morning. She's a little bit early, which is fine with me. If she's ready to go, I'm ready to go. Again, unique program today. I'm broadcasting live from Rwanda. And hello, all of you in America. If you're outside of America, outside of me, feel free to let me know where you're listening at. I know many of you are in Colorado. I appreciate that there, but we're getting all around the globe. You can listen to this program, and as we go live every morning, Monday through Friday, again, kicking off in full steam ahead, January the 6th. This is our final show of 2024, but I am live from Rwanda, and I'll talk more about the trip in my work in Rwanda here in just a moment. But let me bring in my first guest of the morning besides Edwin, who was just here. I'll bring in my next guest, and my first guest of the morning is Leah Hops, I believe. I got to get the pronunciation right. And she is the co-author of a book that deals with, it kind of looks at the 2020 election, and it's called The Parallel Election, A Blueprint for Deception. She's the co-author of that book. And we want to talk a little bit about the 2024 election. And let me bring Leah Hops into the program now. Leah, welcome to the show. Let me bring you up here. There we go. It's a little slow. I'm in Rwanda. Good morning, Leah.
Good morning. How are you? Yes, you got the third pronunciation right. Leah Hops.
Hoops. Well, I couldn't see it very well on my screen until I put it big on my screen. I'm literally sitting on a patio. Have you ever been to Rwanda, Leah?
No, I have not.
Well, you should come. It's fantastic. It's 5:23 in the evening here, and I'm drinking. This is not apple juice, Leah. This is not apple juice, but it's okay. Let's talk. First of all, give us the premise of the parallel election, and then I want to dive into some of the just interesting questions about the 2024 election with Joe Biden. Give us the premise of the book you've co-authored called The Parallel Election.
Sure. So I was a poll watcher in the 2020 election. I was a committee woman in my township in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. And I had started investigating my county council, which we talk about. We also talk about the Republicans that were in power prior to and their corruption. And then we start getting into the investigation that we did 8 months prior to the general election of 2020. And these communists that were installed into Delaware County, Pennsylvania, into our county council, and including the Soros-bought district attorney, Jack Stolzheimer. And during the shutdown, we investigated everyone, started to look into the money, their donations, where they came from. And we found out that they were DNC operatives and Marxists. And they were there for a reason. And then we started to find out that Mark Zuckerberg and his money started to funnel into Delaware County, George Soros money, and all of these dark entities that were involved. So I recruited Greg Stenstrom, who is the co-author of The Parallel Election and a co-plaintiff and co-defendant of mine. His background is in fraud investigations. He is also what they call a white hat hacker, and he has done work for the federal government, and he has put government officials in jail because of his investigations. So I brought him in. We knew all the players prior to the 2020 election. We were well prepared going into the election. And then we were placed inside of the centralized counting center, which is something very new to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania because of the all mail-in ballot system that they installed. So we were looking for fraud, and we found it. And during that time, we found an attorney who would take our case. They went after that first attorney, which we talk about, and then eventually we found a whistleblower inside the Bureau of Elections. We linked up with Project Veritas, and we caught them spoliating evidence and committing felonies on camera. Since the book, we have created a documentary called The Big Con, which is on www.parallelelection.com. And we go into further the investigations after we wrote the book in 2022 and published it. So that's kind of the synopsis there. And we linked up with a great group called Zero Media, Michael and Peter. They're fantastic. They did a great job on the documentary.
The voice of Leah Hoops, if you're just listening to the program. If you're viewing it, of course, you can see that on the screen. Co-author of a book called The Parallel Election, also the new documentary called The Big Con. We'll talk more about that. Leah, let's fast forward. That was a 2020 election, and you found some fraud. However, from 2020 till 2023, 24, if you talked about fraud in that election, you were called an election denier. You could get banned from certain platforms out there. As a matter of fact, we're streaming live on the tube of the U, if you know what I mean, and I wouldn't be surprised if they pull this show down, not because of anything except we're talking about this topic. We used a word that has to do with a shot in your arm that begins with a V, and just simply said it, and suddenly we were off the tube of the U. So who knows how this show will go. We'll probably get a strike here before we know it. But if you talked about the topics you're talking about from 2020 till 2024, you were called an election denier. Is this going to be like so many other things, that all the people that were considered conspiracy theorists end up in the long run, we were proven to be right?
So if you notice, once the people like myself and other witnesses, whistleblowers, and patriots started coming forward and fighting against this ideology and this propaganda machine, and labeling people as election deniers and conspiracy theorists. I mean, they went after Joe Rogan, for God's sakes, for taking ivermectin. You're starting to see the pendulum swing. The term election denier is no longer. I don't see it in social media anymore. I was labeled an insurrectionist on the insurrection index. I literally, if you Google my name, you can see all of the defamation, harassment, intimidation. But it's more than just that. It's more than just words. Because we have come forward and exercised our right to petition and file our grievances against our government, we have been intimidated and harassed by the government officials. DOJ, Pennsylvania Attorney General Josh Shapiro sent agents to our home. FBI has been at my house. We've been sued multiple times, but we have been victorious in fighting against the nonsense and the corruption. And because of that, we have encouraged others and have given them the courage to come forward. So now it's to the point where we're not just investigating election fraud, but we are also investigating and working with whistleblowers that have come forward and exposed public corruption, anything from security exchange fraud to sexual trafficking to sex abuse to anything that is being covered up by our government officials. So courage, like Bannon says, is contagious. And we do this, and the way that we do this and keep moving forward is by putting on the armor of God every single day and doing what's right and fighting for our republic, not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic.
Is there ever going to be anyone held accountable? I talked about this in the COVIDs and the lies we were told about, so much of that. And it seems like we've learned the truth. The truth sets us free mentally, but no one ever gets held accountable. When it comes to some of these issues, is there any accountability coming nationally at the local level? And if not, if no one's ever held accountable, what prevents it from happening again?
So what's interesting is that people keep saying move forward from 2020. You can never move forward from that moment. Literally, that was tyranny. And we were subject to billions of dollars of propaganda by our own government. There was mass genocide through these mRNA jabs, and not to mention the every other ideology that came forward. Yes, people will be held accountable 100%, and it has to be up to the people exercising their 10th Amendment power. You have to hold your government officials accountable. You have to stay persistent. This is not going to be easy. This is going to be a hard fight. This is for the rest of our lives. As long as we want to keep our republic, we the people, no one's coming to save us. No one. I have one savior, that's Jesus Christ. And yes, people will be held accountable, not only on this earth, but also, they're going to have to answer to their maker.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I hope they're held accountable on this earth for this. Let's fast forward to 2024. Miraculously, we had the phrase too big to rig. Was the corruption rooted out of the system, or was it too big to rig? What was the difference between 2020 and 2024?
So what's interesting is the too big to rig theory came from Ron McDaniel in 2022. And I know that because I watch social media like a hawk. The RNC and the establishment Uniparty came up with this nonsense that you need to embrace mail-in ballots, when the reality of it is in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, it was brought to us, the no excuse mail-in ballots, through an unconstitutional way. So first and foremost, it's unconstitutional. It's riddled with fraud. It's still riddled with fraud. And no, it was not too big to rig. What happened was that there are people like myself, there are people that are patriots all across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania actually fighting the fraud and have not stood down. And what you're seeing is the mail-in the early vote in Pennsylvania is simply just an on-demand mail-in ballot. So, and the idea to embrace a fraudulent system, and the more we embrace it and beat them at their own game so that eventually we can get rid of it, makes no sense. So Trump's early vote / mail-in ballot in Pennsylvania only increased by like 1 or 2%. I think it's about around 1% in 2024. And Kamala received 700,000 less mail-in ballots in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. No registration explains that. No early vote explains that. People came out in droves in person, which is what we need to continue in this country, because they want to centralize our election systems. They want to make Pennsylvania and every other swing state look like Colorado. They want to get rid of the in-person vote. And that's not what won the Pennsylvania for Trump. It was the simple fact of people like myself who've put our life and liberty on the line, have stopped the mail-in ballot fraud, because there's so many eyes, on the drop boxes in government. We are watching everything. We have whistleblowers, witnesses, and we've put pressure with lawsuits and filing formal criminal charge referrals to the House Judiciary Committee, to the U.S. Attorney General's office, to the DOJ, to everyone and their mother. So the pressure is coming from the people. It has nothing to do with the mail-in ballots and the too big to rig nonsense. It's nonsense, because they stole elections down ballot. If anyone thinks the people in Arizona voted for Trump but didn't vote for Carrie Lake, I have a bridge to sell you. It's insane. They are still stealing elections, because at the end of the day, they want the House seats, they want the Senate seats, because they are the ones that are going to determine how much Trump is actually able to do once he's in the position of president.
Again, the voice, if you're just listening on the audio portion, I know some of you do that. You just let it play because you're headed to work, or you're at work and you have it playing. You're listening to Leah Hoops. She has a new documentary called The Big Con. We'll tell you more about that in just a moment. Leah, maybe you can help me. I think one of the interesting things that it's been talked about, but it's been brushed over. It is a crazy news story. What happened to the 81 million votes that Joe Biden had in 2020? Where did 19 million people just drop off the planet? What happened to why the disparity in vote totals for Joe Biden versus Kamala Harris versus Democrats?
Well, I'm surprised the left hasn't explained it as the climate change killed all those people before the 2024 election. The nonsense that comes out of their mouth. I mean, it's ironic sometimes how stupid some of the things that they said. But in reality, we talked about this in 2020 and since in the parallel election, and we discussed from the very beginning, and we have made the accusations and proven it with material facts that they ingested fake mail-in ballots. These were not real people. They were not qualified electors. They created signatures. There's no transparency. You can't see a mail-in ballot. You can't see a mail-in ballot. You can't challenge a mail-in ballot signatures. They were generating fake votes. That's the end of the story. It wasn't that there were that many more people, voting for, seriously, people voting for Joe Biden from his basement while there was like a 90-mile rally in Maricopa County. Like, come on, 75 miles, whatever the heck it was. Seriously, it's stupid. So they weren't real. They were not real voters.
And that brings me to, again, the accountability. If this is provable, and which states did that happen, and what is it? Just the voters have to get rid of their county clerks and their secretaries of states on a local level? Is there any, you mentioned referrals to the Justice Department? Is there any legal ramification that these people will have hell to pay?
Yes. So what you're seeing most recently in the Gateway Pundit, who just covered the story about these prosecutors running scared, the people that went after President Trump for the January 6th nonsense, they're running scared. And I'll give you a for instance. You have to keep the pressure on these people. You have to do and use the blueprint that we used. We were co-defendants with President Trump in a defamation case in Philadelphia, Greg and myself. And they were coming after us. The voting machine warehouse custodian, James Savage, said that we, lied about everything, although we gave declarations under penalty of perjury and filed, criminal charges. He said that we defamed him and caused him heart attacks. Anyway, we represented ourselves pro se for 900 days in a Philadelphia court with a Democrat judge. And the end result of that was they offered us settlement, said that we could leave behind President Trump. We told them no. Okay, so that's a first. And then on top of it, they withdrew their complaint. We filed sanctions, got the sanctions against the attorney, J. Connor Corcoran. His license was suspended for 18 months, and he closed down his law practice in Pennsylvania. There are people running scared from the Office of Inspector General, which we call the council, which is really running this country, because all the investigations go up to the OIG, okay? And then they shut them all down. The Hunter Biden laptop, where COVID came from, every accusation that's been made against Hunter Biden, against Biden himself, against Obama, election fraud, it all goes to the Office of Inspector General, which was created to stop corruption and to oversee the government, has now been weaponized against the people. They shut down investigations. Bill Barr is a part of the council. We filed criminal charges against him. We have done everything possible, and we've put pressure, and that's going to continue as long as I am breathing.
We're going to have a change in the Justice Department. We're going to have Kash Patel, FBI. We're going to have Pam Bondi. Is there any, again, our Lord and Savior is Jesus Christ, but is there anybody in the administration that's going to, I won't say save us, but at least shed some light on this thing?
So here's where I am. I don't trust a single person in our government. I don't. I love President Trump. I have put my faith into him as a leader of our country. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and the pressure needs to remain. And I'm telling Pam Bondi and Kash Patel right now, you better do your job, because Leah Hoops, Greg Centrum, and the grassroots patriots that have literally put our lives and livelihoods on the line and our liberty, we're going to continue to put pressure that you will hold these people accountable. We're not going anywhere. So they better do their job.
That's been my biggest fear. Trump wins. Everyone does a victory dance. Oh, our work is done. We're going to drain the swamp. And the answer is no, we're not. The answer is we have to stay vigilant. We have to continue to give him hell. You got to continue to hold President Trump. You made promises. Let's do this. And hopefully this time he surrounds himself with some better people. But anybody out there listening to you live on this interview or later in this interview, anybody out there listening needs to know that our work is not done here yet. There's no spiking of the football. It's just beginning. We have a window of opportunity to make a difference, but it's a small window, and we better work hard and we better work fast.
Well, the pressure's on. The pressure's on. Mark Elias is running scared. He just completely got rid of his Twitter account. Now, this is a guy that I used to troll him. I still troll. I trolled Mark Elias for years, and I told him flat out. I actually told him, I'm like, please intervene in one of our cases. I would love to go up against you without a law degree. I've represented myself pro se for 2.5 years now and done very well. I have retired attorneys. Greg and I have retired attorneys. We have had, we're in the process of getting judges recused from cases. I work with people that are also pro se who have had major victories. Like, we're done. We are awake. We are alive. We are ready to go, and we're ready to fight for this republic, and it's not going to stop. Like, you can't unsee what we have seen. You can't ever tell me to move on from 2020. I am going to hold people accountable in a court of law, and it's coming. And Kash Patel and Pam Bondi and everyone else that's involved that talks a big game, I'm done with the talk. You better do your job.
Yeah, I totally agree. Is there a centralized platform for people that are just as pissed off as you and me? Is there a centralized platform to get all the parts moving in the same direction, all the people working not separately but together? Is there an organization that people should be a part of? And let's make this happen.
So the biggest thing that Greg and I have stayed away from is this top-down approach. I'm not a big fan of doing this nationally. To me, the best way that you keep your republic is by working in your own backyard and creating like a local group. because every county is different when it comes to their certain situation or their certain government officials or their laws or their elections. And I feel like if people exercise their 10th Amendment and they exercise their power in their local communities, that's how you take back your republic. I mean, if you think about the Revolutionary War, we won it at each battleground. Okay, in each state, in each county or whatever. That's how you keep a republic. And this whole idea that we can have a national, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, there's too much dark money involved. Stay within your power. Stay within your local backyards. Local politics has more an effect of your everyday life, and that's where your power is. So that's what we've been doing.
Are you and Greg focused on Pennsylvania? Where are you guys focused at?
So our investigation is in Delaware County. We have been heavily focused in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. It is the hub of the election fraud, and we are the only ones at this point who have undisputed evidence sitting in a court of law. They have not been able to dispute a single thing that we have said. I don't want to say, I don't know it for a fact. If there are any other counties, I think Fulton County might be another one, but at least I can say in Philadelphia County, in Delaware County, there are material facts putting on the docket. They're unable to dispute anything that we have said. They've done everything to try to intimidate us, and they can't disprove anything that we've said. And truth is a complete defense to defamation. So we're being sued still. We won our one defamation case, and that's not done and over with because there will be a reckoning for that. We're being sued for defamation still in Delaware County, and we're being sued for malicious prosecution in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. So this is great. They've given us an opportunity, right, to destroy them in court, and they're gonna keep pushing it out, trying to outlive us and outsurvive us, and it's never gonna happen.
You have kind of that spirit of Donald Trump that you're like, I ain't backing down. I'm going to keep fighting. He kept fighting, and obviously they thought they would take him out, and they didn't, and it worked out in his favor, I think, ultimately in the court of public opinion. And I believe that's going to be what happened for people like you that continue to fight the good fight and say, no, you don't get to do what you did to us in 2020, from lockdowns to ballots and all. You don't get to do that, and I'm not going to back down and just move along. Everyone move along and sing Kumbaya. No, I'm not singing Kumbaya.
That's right. I was an alternate elector for President Trump in 2020. Of course, I was called a treasonous traitor and all this other stuff. And what's interesting, you say I have the spirit of Donald Trump. We actually share a birthday. So Donald Trump and I have the same birthday, June 14th. So, and it's also, I share it with Flag Day, which is an absolute honor to me. Yeah. So, yeah, more people need to have the spirit of God inside of them. And praying is not enough. It's a tool. It's like a direct line to God, but God hands you a shovel and he tells you to dig your trench, people, dig your trench, and be ready to fight for your republic.
I'm sitting here in Rwanda, and I'll give you a little quick history lesson. I was yesterday in the Parliament building. I'll show some photos of this in a bit. And the Parliament building is still the Parliament here. But back in the early 90s, when the Rwandan genocide happened and the RPF was under attack and they started committing genocide, 1 million people died in 90 days. They were attacking the Parliament building. And matter of fact, the holes are still on the side of the Parliament building where they were under fire the entire time. And the leader, Paul Kagame, said they were trying to get into the Parliament to take out the good politicians, the RPF politicians. They were trying to kill them. And so the RPF had surrounded the Parliament, but all across the city here, there on the screen, you can see those are still on the Parliament building. They've let them stand as what happened in the early 90s. And I just took that yesterday. But Paul Kagame, the president who's now the president, but at the time he was just the commander of the resistance, if you will. He sent word that all of the troops there should divide up into 6 battalions. And from the top of that Parliament building, you can see some major hills. And there was genocide happening in the Amahoro Stadium. There was genocide happening everywhere. And he took the risk to divide everybody up, 6 battalions, and you go here, you go here, you go here, and let's stop this nonsense. By the time they got it all stopped and retook the city of Kigali, it was actually July the 4th. And so they share an Independence Day with America. And it's been 30 years. But it's really cool. They love Americans here. But he took the risk to divide up and said, "This is not a centralized movement. You've got to spread out. It's 6 battalions, and we need 50 battalions. We need 150 battalions in every county, every city, every state."
That's right. And the best way the American military works is actually decentralization. So they communicate at a top level, of course. but they act independently. That's why you have separate branches of the military. And when you break down, because I work with, Greg Centrum, he was a naval commander. I work very closely with a lot of veterans and active military. I have been able to understand, tactical strategies and military operations. And the best way that we can operate is really like a military unit, in the sense of when it comes to information or when it comes to, our battles in the court. I'm not talking about violence, although there is a constitutional remedy for tyranny. I'm not afraid to talk about that, but the whole point of us going
There
into
goes the YouTubes, the tubes of the U. We're going to get knocked down again, Leah. It's going to be a strike.
of course,
I'm running like a bowling tournament here on this podcast. It's like bowling for dollars here on the YouTube.
I love it. Well, what we're doing in the courts is we are exhausting our administrative remedies, and we're making sure that violence doesn't happen. It's the last thing that we want in this country is a war. But really we are in a Cold War. We are sitting here, we're in an informational war, we're in a political war. We are at war, just not without the violence. And that's what we're trying to prevent, obviously, is from this country and things going kinetic. It's the last thing that we want.
Obviously, one way people can support you and Greg is by the book, The Parallel Election, but you're representing yourself in a lot of cases. Is there a legal defense fund, or you want people to keep that money in their community?
If you go on the www.parallelelection.com, you can go right up at the top, and there's you can hit the little donate area, and it'll go right to our Give, Send, Go fund. We are acting basically as a law firm. Some of our filings are 500 pages, and it requires a lot of work. If you guys have never been in the court system, if you've never been into if you've never had to do a filing or even watch an attorney do a filing, the people that we're going up against are Ballard Spahr, who's represented Obama and Biden and the Clintons. We're going up against Dwayne Morris. We're going up against these large, law firms that are across the world. And it's us doing the work. And sometimes it takes us weeks to do a filing. And that takes up my time. And it's very hard. It's tough, and they've made it hard on us, and that's fine. I'm up for the challenge. But obviously, we could always use the support.
Parallel Election. We have it on the screen there below us. There's a little donate or give button, Give, Send, Go, and you can help Leah and Greg keep the fight up. And they're acting as a law firm. And hopefully people get a copy of the book. But that may inspire them, give them the instructions for what they need to be on the lookout on their own level. Is there anything, I believe elections are best local, but people have to hold accountability to the local officials. And we often think politics in Washington is sexier. We pay attention to that. And we don't know who the county clerk is. We don't know all this. Is there anything that Washington, D.C. should do in this window of time to safeguard elections? Is there any bill that should move through the hallowed halls of Congress?
Well, the biggest thing is obviously they need to hold the purse strings here. And, the money that we're sending out, it's absolutely atrocious. There's no way to even justify the amount of money that's being sent out to Ukraine, to Israel. America first. Don't run on America first policies and then sit there and try to justify us supporting wars that we have no business being in. I see it on the local level. I see our elderly population, suffering because they're living on a shoestring budget. I see
veterans on the streets.
It's homelessness, the increase, the illegals that are coming in. My county is a sanctuary county. The fentanyl that is coming in, there are so many issues. Our veterans are suffering. You're never going to be able to justify to me. And for people that run on America First policies and are saying that we Americans are put first, and they at all go off of that, agenda, I will personally, make your life a living hell. And that includes holding you to account that you're going to put Americans first. And until we're at that point in this country, and we hold these people to the fire, and we stop looking at them like they're these, I don't even know. Sometimes I feel like they're looking at these politicians like they're Hollywood, superstars. These are your government officials. Okay. Stop trusting these people. They haven't earned your trust until they are in office. So start there. Stop putting them on a pedestal because they say that they're a Republican or an America First person. They have to prove themselves. That's where I am.
Yeah, I agree. The Big Con is a documentary. Where do people find that, and what will they see in that?
So we grouped up with, we linked up with Zero Media, and they helped to direct and put out this wonderful production. Greg and I became producers of the Big Con. They can find it on parallelelection.com. As soon as you go on the main page, you can scroll down. The documentary is there. We have a few more videos that we've put out explaining some processes of our elections. But it's fantastic. It's 28 minutes. It's well worth your time. It discusses the blueprint, and it basically takes the parallel election and puts it to life. And we discuss everyone. I mean, we are not, we're not shy. When we point people out, we give you names, we give you faces, and we talk about the who, the what, the when, the how. We give you everything. We definitely do not hold back.
And I'm sure you followed the blueprint they used in Colorado to take over our state. That's there's a whole book on that.
Yes. So when we talk about how we got Act 77 in the book, we talk about the fact that the GOP gave us Act 77 starting in June of 2016. And it goes through the process of all these bills that they passed through in Pennsylvania through the GOP and the anti-Trumpers and the establishment that pushed this through and gave us an unconstitutional Act 77, which amended our Constitution without putting it on the ballot for a referendum for the people to vote on. I mean, it's disgusting. So we talk about that in the book, and we talk about how much your local politics affect your everyday life.
Yeah, we forget that politics. We oftentimes want to focus and raise our ire at the hallowed halls of Congress and demonize Nancy Pelosi. But you've got a lot of Beelzebubs hanging out at your city hall. You've got a lot of your county offices and your state legislature, and it's a Trojan horse there. But again, we want to focus on this national stuff. And in your own backyard, you've got some real problems.
Yeah, and that's where your power is. So I'll give you, for instance, Delaware County right now with the Marxists that are, these progressive Marxists that are sitting in our county council, they just raised the taxes in Delaware County 25%. We're 76 million in the hole, and they just raised. This is all about spending. That's all it comes down to. It's lining their own pockets. It's putting in their own agenda. And so when people complain and they want to go on social media and complain and they want to focus on the Nancy Pelosi's, well, Nancy Pelosi has nothing to do with Christine Ruther and Kevin Madden and Womack and everyone else raising the taxes 25% in Delaware County. Yeah. So it's just, to me, it's like barking at the moon, as Greg says. You can complain about the George Soros and the Nancy Pelosi and what's sexy and talking about all this other stuff. But I can tell you what, there are plenty of Jeffrey Epsteins in Delaware County politics. There are plenty of Jeffrey Epsteins in Pennsylvania politics. There are plenty of people that are extracting wealth from their local communities who are sitting in local politics, and they're stealing from you. And they're doing it with just disregard and impunity. And the only way that you're going to fix that is by doing something. You need to get local. You need to be involved and understand local politics. You need to be running for office. You need to be putting pressure and shaming these people, them, putting them out of business, making sure they can't run for office.
Yeah, for years I was on local radio in Colorado, and I'd say it's one thing to be pissed off at Nancy or Chuck or somebody up there, but there's plenty of Republicans up there. But still, what about Jared Polis? What about your school board in the Poudre School District or the Broomfield School District? Those people are corrupt fools, and they need to be held accountable. But I look at the school board elections in Colorado and across America. Couple of thousand people vote for school board. They don't even pay attention, and then we bitch and complain about what's happening in the public schools, and we have no one to blame for ourselves. So maybe this should be a New Year's resolution. I've kept you longer than I promised you I would, but it's been a good conversation. People got to wake up, pay attention, go watch the Big Con. It's on parallelelection.com, parallelelection.com. Leah, thanks for the extra time. I hope I didn't screw your schedule up too much.
Not at all. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
You got it. Appreciate it. Leah Hoops, again, parallelelection.com. Go to the website, check it out, and do that. All right. A couple of little stories here. I want to wrap it up here in just a second. And again, it's our final show of 2024. We're going to kick off big time in 2025. We're going to have really try to ramp this thing up. The last couple of weeks, you guys have been so gracious commenting, and I read all our comments. Producer Chad is reading them. putting it on the screen. And listen, we're going to keep giving you great guest. Great guest. Sounds like a very informative book. Hope Leah keeps that burr under her saddle and the bee in her bonnet. Yeah, see, quoting the Lakey there, bee in your bonnet, burr in your saddle. You know, I used to say bee in your bonnet, burr in your saddle, pimple on your butt. And I had a little old lady say, please don't say pimple on your butt. It's not proper. Well, I think it might be proper, but I won't say it for that lady. Listen, she's spot on. Great guest. Again, the Parallel Election is her website. Dennis, thank you. Great guest. We're going to keep giving the great guests. There's a way you can support this. This is all free. I mean, I'm not making a penny right here being here. Matter of fact, I pay for my own trip even for the charity. I mean, it's a labor of love, working the charity, but it's also right now, Chad and I are doing this all just as a labor of love because we want the information to get out there. But one of the ways you keep this information free is one thing. Love the Lakey Unleashed, but go to the Patreon page, patreon.com/Jimmy Lakey, patreon.com/Jimmy Lakey, and like it. Use a free level. You'll get notified of the stuff that goes up there for free. We're going to really ramp that up first of the year. We've already got a lot of content there. It's behind a paywall. Most of it is. There's some free stuff there. You can go and you'll get notified when it shows up. You don't have to follow a podcast. It's just listen on demand. And it's $9.90, 7-day free trial, $9.95. That's one of the ways. If you like great guests like Leah and you want to keep getting them for free, then please support us on the Patreon page. That's one of the ways you can do that because, again, this right now is a labor of love. Ain't nobody funding it. iHeartMedia is not sending me a check to do a podcast or a broadcast or something like that every morning. As a matter of fact, they probably wish I wouldn't. Another way you can help us, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, we really want to ramp this up. Again, we've been working out the bugs the last several weeks, figuring out which buttons we should push, which ones we shouldn't, what format works, how does it work. I'm used to talking with no camera on me, and we're just working out some bugs. But January, we're going to really try to ramp this thing up, and we want to start announcing our new advertisers and sponsors. Even if you are not a business owner, but you say, hey, you know, there's people that don't own businesses that donate to buildings and on university campuses because they want their name on the building. You don't have to be a business owner if you want to be a sponsor. You hear about people like George Soros funding information and funding propaganda. He's not selling a business. He's just a funder of propaganda. Again, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you own a business or what. If you'd like to sponsor the Lakey Unleashed daily podcast, we go 1 hour now. I'm open to go 3 or 4 hours. I don't care. We'll keep the great guests coming, but we need more sponsors. We need more of you. Info@Jimmy Lakey. We'll send you an advertising kit. It gives all the prices, all the information. All right. Real quick, I want to show you a couple of things from tomorrow. What is Tuesday? I forgot what day is Tuesday. We're going out to our Legacy Christian Academy, and we're going to do some service. I'll tell you about that here in a second. But this is a video I filmed last month when I was here, and this is me talking about a house. Tomorrow, the lady, a genocide survivor, we built her a house. We're going to give her the keys to the home tomorrow, and we're going to dedicate the house and inaugurate the house and all that stuff. Here's a video that I did last month talking about the house that tomorrow I've seen the finished product. She's going to be there. It's going to be a big celebration, but this is our house we did for the widow, and tomorrow I get to dedicate that. Then I'll come back and talk about my school. Go ahead. It is Jimmy, and I'm here at the construction site. Rose is over there watching her house being built. The crew is bringing bricks and rocks for the foundation. Take about 2 weeks to build this house. It'll be 4 rooms. And right across the hill, I mentioned earlier in another video that's our school, Legacy Christian Academy. The cool thing is this house is also giving Rose a legacy. She has grandchildren that she has to raise, and she had nothing to leave them. She was homeless. So these bricks will be standing long after she's gone. That school will stand long after you and I have gone, and we're leaving a legacy. And Rose thought she'd never have a legacy to give to her kids or her grandkids or great-grandkids, but now there's at least a house and a good education. So that's why we call it Legacy Christian Academy. That's why we're building a house through Rivers Promise. Leave a legacy behind. Whatever you do, when you make a donation to Rivers Promise, when you give, when you help build a house, when you help sponsor a kid at school, you're building and investing in something that's going to stand a lot longer than you and I will ever be on the planet. So thanks for investing in legacy and helping Rose and widows and orphans and children. We're leaving legacy behind for ourselves and giving them the chance to have a legacy of their own. Thanks. Now, yesterday, I was there. We're going to go tomorrow, and we have this beautiful phase 1 building of Legacy Christian Academy. Some people that are in the audience right now were actually there for the ribbon cutting a year and a half ago. We're now through 2 school years, 1.5 school years, and It's amazing. Chad, producer Chad, do we have the one that goes on the wall? If not, that's okay. Yeah, this is on the wall of one of the classrooms I saw yesterday, and if you can read it, and this isn't big, it talks about how wonderful the school is, how wonderful the teachers are. But at the very bottom, it says, "My school has now become famous in the province." And I'm happy to go here. All the kids are so happy. We have waiting. People want to come to our school. We teach English. We're Christian based. We feed the kids 2 meals a day at our school. It costs us $30 a month to feed children. It's way over. Our inflation's gone up, but it's so fun to see that the children learn that the government itself is even. It's like, your school's become famous. We want more of these. They've even invited me. They said, "Jimmy, would you now build a university?" I said, "Let me build the primary school, then build the high school, and who knows, before I die, maybe we'll have Lakey University." I don't know, but we've been asked to build actual government has asked us to build a university here. Why? Education is the ladder that people use to get out of the pit of extreme poverty. Tomorrow, we're going to dedicate this woman, since the genocide, pretty much lived under banana leaf. She raises children, grandchildren, takes care of orphans, and she's never had a house. We built her a house. Not necessarily our focus, but we needed to help her. It was a desperate situation. If you can donate year end, we're December the 30th, live broadcast. I am in Rwanda right now. It is 6:01 in the evening. The beautiful backdrop. I'm at a place called the Onomo Hotel, and I'm broadcasting live. It's the land of 1,000 hills. It's one of those beautiful places on the planet. I think God smiled when he made this one. He said, "Whoa, this is good." And if you can help us, a year-end donation, I would really, really appreciate it. A year-end, we're at 501c3 tax-deductible organization, and you make a donation, riverspromise.org. You have until 11:59 p.m. tomorrow. But, if everyone who watches this podcast, broadcast, that watches it, whether you're watching it live with me right now or whether you're watching in another, maybe later in the day or maybe tonight, if you just go to the website and made a donation, $10, $100, $1,000, it will help us immensely. Now, yesterday I was at the school and we snuck in. Usually when I go there, it's like I don't want to sound arrogant, but it's like a rock star shows up. I'm I'm a big deal. They love me. That's my son, River, and that's him and I in front of Legacy Christian Academy yesterday. And that's phase 1 of the building. And he loves this. If you don't know the story, he was adopted from here. And I made a promise. His name's River. I made a promise that I'd take care of all the kids that I could not adopt. And that's the whole story behind Legacy Christian Academy. We right now, under our care, have 250 children that most of them would not attend school. Most of them would not have shoes. Many of them would not eat, maybe once or twice a week. Malnutrition was a big deal. We're changing all that because of the promise of the kid you just saw there. Now, I want to show you. This is yesterday, and this is just a standalone video. Just a standalone video. We'll use it for some other elements, or if not, you'll be the only ones that ever see it. It's always noisy. There's 150 kids in that school. There's celebrations and parties. They didn't know. We went to church yesterday morning, ate at a great restaurant called Mr. Chips. It's a burger joint. It's actually really good. If you come with me, we take public trips. I bring people with me, and it's probably the best bargain you'll ever get for world travel. And you can send us, ask for info. We'll give it to you. I'm live from Rwanda right now. Tomorrow, we're going to go and do some cleaning at the school and just honor the school and it's their off break. So I'm going to help them clean, which they've been amazed that the big Mzungu is going to help them clean the school. We're going to clean floors. We're going to do all sorts of stuff tomorrow just to show that we're blessed to have this building and take care of it. And that's what we're trying to teach them. But this was me getting out of the car yesterday, amazed at the silence because no one knew I was there. I snuck in. The driver drove me in, and I tried to stay hidden so no one would see me. And that way I could have a quiet moment with my son and his friend at the school. And it's the first time I'd been in the school with no chaos. And this is just a snippet video. It kind of is open-ended. We'll use it for something else, but this is the video of me sneaking in to our school campus yesterday. Usually when I come to the school, they know I'm coming and it's a school day. Today I'm sneaking in. No one's here. Just check it out. Legacy Christian Academy, phase 1 there. Getting ready to make big plans and big announcements on phase 2. Usually there's children around. Today, it's quiet. It's a Sunday, and no one even knows I'm here. It was actually, it was actually kind of surreal to be there with it so quiet. The classrooms were empty for the Christmas holiday, and we just got to kind of walk through and kind of make some checklists of things we want to improve without the chaos of children and stuff. Listen, I mean this sincerely. You're invited to come with me. I had a friend who's now on my board of directors named Ron. A couple of years ago, got off a bus in front of the where we're actually going to build the school. We hadn't even started phase 1, and he says, I've been hearing you talk about this forever. This is real stuff. Oh my God, it's real stuff, dude. These are real kids. You can help us. Year-end donation, wonderful. I'd love to take you with me. Roger says, thank you for keeping your wings. I'm unleashed. We're all God's children. Education is the ladder out of poverty. You are having an impact that will be felt for generations. We are actually changing like families. It's kids. When I first got here, not to brag, it's not me. I'm just doing God's work. That's all I'm doing is the Lord's work. It was not unusual for a kid to die before they were age of 3 or 4 because they're over a mile high in the tropical rainforest. They don't get snow because they're south of the equator, but it still gets cool at night. They get wet, damp, no blankets, no shelter, and kids would die. And it's amazing. So if you ever want to come here with me, it doesn't cost as much as you think. And if you ever want to see Africa, you ever dreamt of going on a safari, ever want to see the silverbacks, we put these trips together. And part of that is coming to see Legacy Christian Academy. All you got to do is send us a message and we'll put some dates together. And those dates are coming up soon. Now, on that video, I alluded to something. We're going to start. Not only is Lakey Unleashed going to, hopefully, with the help of advertisers and subscribers, we're going to really kick some butt in next year. We're also about to announce a capital building project campaign to finish out the part of that complex. That complex there is phase 1. There's 2 more of those buildings that must go up. 2 more of those buildings, a pavilion, a building in the middle that will be cafeteria and auditorium, and that will fill out our K-6 campus. We already own the land for the middle school and high school campus and dormitories. That's up the street. I've already bought that land. I bought that land 3 years ago, and it's just sitting there waiting. I'll tell you this, I'm just going to announce it here. Why the heck not? I'm here in Rwanda live. Next year, be praying about this. We have received our first matching donation for the phase 2. Phase 2 matching donation is, are you ready for this? Phase 2 matching donation we've made is, we have a $400,000 match. I just got to raise about $400,000 more. I got matching funds on the table. We're going to talk about it next year. Stand by. That's going to be big. $400,000. That's not just the rest of the campus, but that's also 20 apartment units that teachers, so we can bring the very best teachers in. Because as Roger's comment said, it's the ladder kids get out of poverty with. That's why I'm here. That's why I show up here all the time. And that's why we wanted to do this show today live from Rwanda, talk about Joe Biden, talk about Jimmy Carter and things like that. We wanted to talk from Rwanda to talk about our work there and to see if the technology works, because I want to be here a lot more than I have been. Scott says the trip with Jimmy is worth every penny. Scott and his wife have both been here with me. I think a couple of times they've come on their own and get the mushroom soup, he says, in Akagera. Okay, I'll remind everybody, try the mushroom soup at Akagera. I'm going to tell everybody to try that. I've never tried it. My son saw a lion today. First safari, I've gone on 7 safaris with groups. Today I let my son and his friend go with our driver, and they saw a lion within 2 hours. I'm like, I didn't see a lion. I've never seen a lion. As a matter of fact, I think my son's been messaging me. He's on his way back. And I think they actually saw the big 5 today. They were chasing the elephants earlier on their safari, and I think they found them. So if you ever want to go, just send me a message. There's no obligation. Just say, hey, give me information, keep me in the loop, or go to riverspromise.org, riverspromise.com, sign up for the email list. All right, a couple more stolen memes, if you will. Big winners and losers in 2024. I think we win in the health department. Chad just put this up a moment ago, and producer Chad did. And this is the big winner and loser. This is our former director of health in America, a fat person man who thinks she's a woman or thinks he's a woman, whatever pronoun you want to use. And then there's Robert F. Kennedy Jr. There's the big winner and the losers. America is a winner now in 2024. All right. Let's see. Any more comments we want to put up there? Again, if you want to follow, if you want to advertise on the show, info at Jimmy Lakey, riverspromise.org to make a donation. And if you want to go on the trip, you could be here. I think it'd be fantastic at least a couple of times to have a group. And if you're listeners out there on this broadcast, then we all gather together and we have a live audience, and we do the show with a live audience in front of me. Right now, I just have my friend Edwin over there. He's scrolling his phone and he's drinking an Amstel. Let's see your Amstel. He's drinking an Amstel. I told him, since he was on the show earlier, I said, put it on my bill. He's putting on my bill. All right, some of you were standing by for Willie, Pastor Willie, to join us. Pastor Willie texted me during the Leah Hoops interview, and he had just found out that one of his cousins had passed away. And so he had to go home to be with his family. So Pastor Willie is not able to join us only because he found out there was a death in the family. So if you say a prayer for Pastor Willie, and say a prayer for his cousin's name is Fred. I believe, if I was reading it on the fly, and some of it was in Kirwandan. So I believe his cousin, but he just found that out. And so that's why Pastor Willie is not here. So Scott says that I miss Willie talking to a customer. Willie cannot come on because he just found out while he was finding a place to reconnect with us. He found out that his cousin, one of his cousins, had passed away, and he needed to go home and be family. So I say, dang it, I was sad. I wanted Willie to come on. I'll do this, Scott. Once I get home, since this is a great technology we're testing out, I will have Willie join us right after the first of the year. We'll get Willie on, and you will love Willie. Anybody who comes on a trip here with me, you meet Willie. Willie and I, we've decided Willie and I will never be able to sit next together in heaven because he and I just laugh all the time. We make sarcastic jokes, some appropriate, some not. Well, they're not bad. It's not like okay, it's iffy. We have such fun, and it's a great team. Hey guys, Happy New Year. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Thanks for being a part the first few weeks of this Unleashed podcast. I appreciate it. We're just getting started. We want to grow this into be something big and significant, but we got to have your help to do it. Patreon.com/Jimmy Lakey. Sponsor info@jimmylakey.com. Send us an email. And man, I appreciate you. I really do. Producer Chad and I are looking forward to being back with you January the 6th. And then after January the 6th, we will start telling you about our inauguration party, where you can also be part of the live audience of that as well. It'll be a free event, and there'll be cigars. Probably going to be some apple juice involved as well. Hey, everybody, I mean this. Have a great new year. May God bless you. Hey, Brian Maloney, thanks for giving us access to Red Wave America, the media equalizer. Follow us on the YouTube. Follow us on the Twitter. Follow us on the Instagram. We're back on January the 6th. I'm in Rwanda. I will be back in the United States this weekend. I'll be back there. But in the meantime, I mean this. Happy New Year. Thanks for helping us launch this thing. Keep spreading the word. May God bless you. May God bless America. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I am Jimmy Lakey. I'm in Rwanda. And may God bless you. God bless America. Jimmy Lakey, peace. I'm out of here. It's beautiful. I don't even want to go off the camera. If you don't come here, this should be on your bucket list. I don't even work for the Rwanda Tourism Board. Rich says, have a blessed new year. Rich, you as well. God bless you. riverspromise.org. You have until tomorrow to get those year-end donations. And some of you could do a big donation. I know you can. Some of you can't. Say your prayers. Pray for us. I'll give you some video. Follow us on the Facebook, and I'll give you videos from our workout in the village in Kamoni tomorrow. I'm Jimmy, the World Traveler. I think it says that. We're back January the 6th. God bless you. God bless America. I'm in Rwanda. Can you believe we're doing a broadcast from Rwanda? It's live. Live. And it's 6:13 of the evening here. It's live. You need a lighter. Come here. You're going to be famous. Live podcast.
Oh,
Yeah, come. Say hi. It's a stranger.
hi.
Hi. She wanted a lighter because I have a cigar. She's smoking a cigarette. Those will kill you, you know. Hey, everybody. Thank you. Anytime. riverspromise.org. God bless you. I'll see you. Good morning. Great to see you. Great to see you, Sharalee Van Zant Thompson. That's a long name. Trump dance, everybody. Come on, do the Trump dance for New Year's. Trump dance. Trump dance. Everybody do the Trump dance. Rich says good morning. Hey, Rich, to you, I say good evening because I'm in Rwanda. It's evening. This ain't apple juice, kids. This ain't apple juice. Okay, I should probably shut up. Are they telling me to be quiet? Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot to show this one. Remember when they closed all the gyms but kept McDonald's open? Yeah, they really gave a rat's ass about your health, didn't they? Yeah, Jared Polis, he closed the gyms, closed the churches, but he kept the McDonald's and the pot stores open because Jared Polis is a jackwagon. He wants to be the president, though. The jackwagon. Are we done? I'm having fun. We're broadcasting from Rwanda, my second home. It's beautiful here. You got to come. Hey, everybody, Happy New Year. I'm out of here. Peace. See you.